Alright everybody, welcome to Kleschka Picks, week number 5. Alright, let's get it underway. Thursday night game, the Colts and the Patriots. The Patriots played the Dolphins last week, and they had their freaking game that day. The Dolphins, who were undefeated, are no longer undefeated because the Patriots finally sort of look like the Patriots. Not really. I think it's just because they played the Dolphins, and the Patriots have not looked the same as the dominant team they have been over these past years. Yes, they may have got the win, but trust me, I've seen the Patriots look much better. And then the Colts, they lost to the Texans in a fight that was going back and forth, but the Texans came out on top. I think the Patriots are slowly finding their way back, and I think they're going to win this game 34-17. The Titans and the Bills. The Titans got a win last week over the Super Bowl champion Eagles. Very impressive. They're on a winning streak too. And the Bills lost to the Packers. They came back down to earth after beating the Vikings. That was just crazy. And then the Packers were like, yeah, we're going to show you that you're not as good as you think you are. And then let's see. Right here, I think with the winning streak the Titans are on and the fact that they just beat last year's Super Bowl champions, I think they're going to win this game, 24-20. The Giants and the Panthers. The Panthers were on a bye week last week and the Giants lost to the Saints. Alvin Kamara destroyed the Giants later on in the game. Like I said, Panthers were on a bye. They've been kind of a hard team to predict for me this year, but I think they're better than the Giants. The Giants have looked better than they have in the past, but I think the Panthers are a better team, a more athletic team, and I think they are going to beat the Giants 26-23. The Bengals and the Dolphins. This is a tough game for me to predict because it's just these teams I feel like are both having such good seasons so far. The Bengals, who I did not expect to be doing this good, and then the Dolphins, whose first loss was against the Patriots of all teams. So I don't know. The Bengals got a win in Atlanta last week in a shootout, and that was a very entertaining game to watch. And then the Dolphins, like I said, they had to face the Patriots. I just don't know who the better team is right now. It's really tough for me. But I feel like Andy Dalton is just on fire right now. I feel like they got a lot of confidence, the Bengals. AJ Green, elite wide receiver. I feel like they are going to get the win over Miami, 27-23. The Ravens and the Browns. Baltimore has been pretty good this year, and Cleveland has looked good too, but they just keep getting the bad end of the stick. They played the Raiders last week, who only beat them by a field goal. Both teams scored 40+ points. That game was ridiculous. I actually thought the Browns had a chance in that game, but they did not win. And then Baltimore, like I said, they've looked pretty good, and I think they are going to be able to keep the Browns, at a low level this week. I think the Ravens are going to do very well. I think they're going to beat the Browns 30-17. Packers and Lions. Lions lost to the Cowboys. The Cowboys came up clutch late, and then the Packers beat the Bills, like I mentioned earlier. So, who's going to come out on top of this one? Both of these teams, Lions have just been up and down the whole season. I seriously am like, oh my God, can you just be consistent? But then we have Green Bay, who lost to the Redskins, but then they beat the Bills. So, and Aaron Rodgers is hobbled, he's injured. But I think he can beat the Lions, even though he has this injury. Unless the injury gets worse in that game, I think the Packers will be fine, and I think they will beat the Lions 24-19. The Jaguars and the Chiefs. This ought to be a very good game. The Jaguars got a win last week, and the Chiefs won on Monday Night Football, just barely beating the Broncos. The Chiefs' defense has given up tons of points, and they are probably one of the worst defenses in the NFL right now, but I think their offense is so good that they'll be able to get past Jacksonville. I know Jacksonville also has a pretty good defense, although their offense is alright, but it's not top level if you ask me. Anyways, I think the Chiefs, with Patrick Mahomes leading this undefeated Chiefs team, I think he'll get the win over the Jaguars 31-20. The Broncos and the Jets. The Jets lost to the Jaguars. The Broncos lost to the Chiefs, very ironically. So the losers have to play each other now. That's how it works. Just kidding. It just happened to work out that way in the schedule. Anyways, the Broncos. Their run game looked very solid against the Chiefs. I don't know if that's going to continue the whole season. Sam Darnold looked good to start, and he has struggled in games after. So, I don't know what Sam Darnold you're going to see, but I think the Broncos have the better team anyways. Their defense did okay. Not really. They did give up 27 points to the Chiefs, but I still think the Broncos are starting to click, and I think they have done pretty well this season. And I think they're going to win. Where's my score? Where is it? 20-17. Vikings and Eagles, a rematch of the playoffs last year. Vikings were this close to going to the Super Bowl, and then the Eagles came in and ruined it for them. I think this is where revenge will kick in. The Eagles have not looked the same as their Super Bowl year, their Super Bowl run. The Vikings have looked very good except for that Bills game. Even though they lost to the Rams, they still put up like 30 points and they were still like driving downfield pretty easily. And I think the Eagles losing to the Titans last week, and I don't know what's going on with Philadelphia, but I think the Vikings will come out on top 30-20. The 49ers and the Cardinals. The 49ers lost to the Chargers and the Cardinals lost to my Seahawks. That ended up being a very strange game. You know, Earl Thomas, what he did after the game, we lost him, and my attitude towards him, you know, I don't know. Earl, I want you to stop acting this way, but like I understand you want to get paid, but dude, that was not needed. You didn't need to do that, okay? And then, like I said, we beat Arizona. Janikowski came in and he won the game for us. 49ers lost to San Diego. The 49ers, they are all right, if you ask me. Arizona, if you could learn how to use David Johnson the correct way, you could be so much more dominant, if you ask me. But I think the 49ers are going to come out on top in this matchup. I think they're going to win 26-21. All right, the Seahawks and the Rams. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to be super biased. I know how good the Rams are, and it sucks to be in their division. Anyways, the Rams won last week. We also won last week. But the Rams did give up, quite a bit of points to the Vikings. Now, I'm not saying that our offense is as good as the Vikings. I mean, our offensive line is just horrendous, and Russell Wilson has to fight for his life every week. He actually laid down a solid block on a run by Mike Davis that allowed him to score a touchdown. Russell Wilson, like, doing everything on the offense. He throws it, he runs it, he blocks. And then the Rams, I seriously think they're going to be a Super Bowl team. I don't know who can beat them right now, honestly. Like, if there's a Rams-Chiefs matchup this year, that is going to be a tough decision for me. But I think the Rams are going to beat the Seahawks. I think they're going to score high like they usually do because of all the good players they have. I think they're going to win 34-24. Cowboys and Texans, we got ourselves a battle for Texas. All right, like I said, Dallas won last week. Houston won last week. Now, those two winners got to fight for Texas. I wonder how split Texas fans are. If you're from Texas, are you a Cowboys fan or are you a Texans fan? Let me know. Anyways, I think Cowboys are going to win. Houston has struggled mightily this year. They barely got their win last week. The Cowboys have not looked like the Cowboys when Dak Prescott was owning, but I think they look better than the Texans. Deshaun Watson is struggling. Ezekiel Elliott is having a good year. So I think if you can get that run game going, that opens up the passing game for Dak Prescott. And then I think that'll allow the Cowboys to win 23-17. The Steelers and the Falcons. This should be a good game if you ask me. And I think this trend for the Falcons is going to continue. You're asking, what trend? Well, the Falcons, they keep going in the shootouts and they keep getting on the bad end of the shootout. The Saints, the Bengals, like they keep going in these high-scoring games and they keep losing these high-scoring games. It's getting crazy. So I think that's going to happen again with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh lost to Baltimore. But my goodness, Atlanta, you got to get the good end of the stick once. I think that's going to happen this week. Pittsburgh's defense has not been elite this season. And Atlanta, neither has yours because you keep going into high-scoring games. But these offenses have been pretty good. Big Ben has found some struggles sometimes. But Matt Ryan has looked solid to me in the season. It's just his defense has to help him out. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Atlanta's going to win, but I don't think the defense is going to help him. I think he's going to have to fight for every yard. Anyways, I think the Falcons will win 27-24. Finally, the Redskins and the Saints. Saints got a win last week in New York. You know, I'm pretty sure the last time Eli Manning and Drew Brees faced each other was that game where they both threw 7 touchdowns against each other. That was awesome. Anyways, the Redskins, Adrian Peterson has had a good season for his age, and everybody was thinking, all right, his career's done. He's not going to do well there. Well, he's doing pretty well, if you ask me. Alex Smith has been a pretty good field general for the Redskins, but Drew Brees and his offense can just dominate anybody, in my opinion. They're going to give up points. It's not the Saints defense from last year so far. They've given up tons of points so far, but I think they're barely going to win this one. And when I say barely, I mean by a point. And how do I think it's going to go down? I think it's going to be a game-winning field goal from the Saints. I think they're going to win 31-30. All right, everybody, thank you for watching Week 5 of Kleschka Picks. I hope you like this new angle. I'm just trying things out. Anyways, like the video, subscribe. I'll see you next time.
Bye.